In Wisconsin, family members of Travis King, the U.S. soldier who crossed over into North Korea, are pleading with the U.S. government to do more to get him home.
So far, North Korea still hasn't acknowledged his presence, much less commented on his status there. NBC's Matt Bradley has the latest now from South Korea.
Yeah, well, it's been more than 1 week since Private Travis King bolted across the border into North Korea. And ever since then, we still haven't even heard an acknowledgement from the North Koreans that they have custody of Private King. And we certainly haven't seen Private King himself. In fact, we heard from the U.S. government that there really has been very little communication between the U.S. and North Korea. In fact, there's been basically none. The United Nations reached out to the North Koreans, and that communication was acknowledged by the North. But really, there hasn't really been anything since then. But NBC News has spoken exclusively with Private Travis King's family. And now, for the first time, they're expressing, first of all, they're baffled still why Private King did this, why he bolted across the border, why he was engaged in some criminality here in South Korea, which they say was not his character. They're also wondering why the military hasn't been able to get him back. And they're frustrated that they left him at the airport when he was supposed to be sent home to the United States.
I feel like he shouldn't have been at that border in the first place. I feel like whoever job it was for him to get on a plane to come back home should have made sure that he had his passport and everything, and that he was able to get on that plane to come back home. He should have never had no trip booked and get on no tour, no bus, or any of that. He should have been home. He should be home right now because he was coming home. He wasn't coming back here for no discipline, nothing.
So now we're talking about a grieving family venting their frustration. But of course, that's not going to help Private King get home any faster. Matt Bradley, NBC News, Seoul, South Korea.
Now, the U.S. has no diplomatic relations with North Korea, but they do have ways of communicating with the country. North Korea has a presence in New York at the United Nations. The mission, as it's called, serves as a back channel since the countries don't have embassies in each other's capitals. The Swedish embassy has served as a go-between. The famously neutral country has an embassy in the North Korean capital of Pyongyang. But the most direct way to talk is the so-called pink phone. So that's a touch-tone phone that is pink. It's set up in the UN command office at the Korean border, the village where King sprinted away from. That phone line runs about 130 feet to an office representing North Korea. They use that phone to check in every day. Now, there was a time when North Korea suspended the phone line. The UN officers, however, instead used a megaphone to communicate.